Hey, ladies and gentlemen, fellow YouTubers, I am the Unexpected Wonder, and you see the title. You may be curious, what is he going to talk about? Well, I grew up with, I've said before, I grew up with cartoons, anime, namely cartoons, and especially comic book superheroes. And DC was my first experience, and there was Marvel, and then yada yada yada. Now, I love the show. I extremely enjoyed the show Justice League, for example, and then there was Justice League Unlimited. But before that, there was old episodes of Super Friends and Justice League America. There's Superman the animated series, Batman the animated series. You name it. There was a lot of series, and so I grew accustomed to a lot of characters, a lot of phenomenal characters. But Justice League Unlimited dropped the ball for me. It really did. And I know it's been off air for a little while, but we see again another kind of reincarnation of the Justice League through Young Justice. Young Justice, the TV show. Phenomenal TV show, phenomenal. In this video, I will talk about the 8 people who I believe should have legitimately, just 8 people should have just legitimately been in the Justice League. Just 8 people. And I'll give you the reasons why. And then I'll give you those 8 people and examples of why others shouldn't be in them. Okay, first of all, the problem I had with Justice League Unlimited and a lot of Justice League is the problem I have with the Avengers. You at times have, I don't know how many members of the Justice League as like Avengers. Marvel Comics, the Avengers. In Marvel, it's supposed to be the Earth's mightiest warriors, and I understand that there are plenty of folks. But you can't have 20-some members in a league at one time. I mean, over 20 members. It just gets ridiculous. It gets diluted. I thought these were supposed to be the strongest members. That's the same thing with Justice League. But Justice League, as opposed to Marvel's The Avengers, Justice League, it's not just about strength, okay? Not just about power. The Justice League represents so much more. For example, it represents equality. It's got to represent equality. It's got to represent standard. It's got to represent be a representation of practically the entirety of the races and such that you come across in the DC universe. Now, obviously, you can't represent everything, but the best representatives. That's what the Justice League should be about, which is why I only narrow it down to 8. Because everybody else, you're going to start getting copies and stuff, and you don't want that. You just don't want that. Now, it's not saying these characters can't ally and help the Justice League members. No, of course they can. Of course. But to be a part of the league, I find that as a problem. I do find that as a problem. So, I will begin with my 8. Number 1, you obviously know who he is. It's Superman, the leader. Superman is arguably the greatest hero ever. He's like the epitome, I wouldn't say stereotype, the archetype of what a superhero, of what a hero is, and let alone superhero. I mean, now, for people not to get confused, because I did post last night sometime, a video about seemingly against Superman. I'm not against Superman. I'm against the radical, the ridiculousness, fanboyism that's accompanying Superman in this day and age. That's different. Superman is one of the most epic characters ever. I just don't want Superman to have every ability possible, be omnipotent. He is not omnipotent. Every created character has limits. Okay? Yes, a character can get expanded upon, but there's gotta be a point where folks just say stop. That just no. You don't see that with any other character besides Superman. With all that being said, Superman has to be. I mean, first of all, he's a Kryptonian. He fits all my criteria. He's the most powerful of Earth's heroes in the DC universe, at least that we know of. He has so many abilities. I will acknowledge he has at least 25 abilities, just characteristics. And like I say, he's Kryptonian. He fits the racial thing. His leadership qualities are bar none. I mean, his sacrifices for Earth, what he's done for Earth. So many things. You just have to throw him in there. My second dude, who you could say a co-founder, co-leader, whatever. Batman, Bruce Wayne. Superman's obviously Kal-El, and I'm talking about Earth 1 here. I'm not talking about Earth 2, Earth 3, any of that. Earth 1, Bruce Wayne, Batman. Batman is arguably, pound for pound, the greatest fighter in DC, especially on Earth. Now, he's not as strong, obviously, as Superman, but he can go head to head with practically anybody. Just think about that. He's a human. Yo, this dude, like, his skills, what he's able to, I mean, his Rose Gallery, his villains, yo, he faces dudes like Bane, Killer Croc. Do I need to continue? He faces off against some of the top dogs of DC, the DC villains, even against Superman's villains. And he doesn't die. I mean, his intelligence is off the Richter. His detective skills, his leadership abilities. All this has been shown. I don't have to really go into it. And he's just the anti-hero. I mean, come on. Superman, you have the hero, and Superman, you have to have the anti-hero, the balance out. He represents so much. He represents a darker side. Now, Superman can be dark. Every one of these characters I mentioned can be dark. But Batman, he is there. To me, he brings the balance, the light, the light and the dark justice. Not dark justice like you have Rob Lucci in One Piece, but the kind of the darker side, without going overboard. Number 3, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince. Again, representation. I mean, she is the female counterpart of Superman. Forget what anybody says about Supergirl or any of these other. No, the original Wonder Woman. She's Amazonian, so she fits another race too. I mean, her feats. Do we have to get in there? Her abilities. Do we really? This is another one we shouldn't even have to discuss. Those who know DC, those who know comic book lore, know Wonder Woman's things. So I shouldn't really need to. And plus, leadership abilities. To me, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are the core. There's always a core group, and those are the core group. You look at any of the Justice League things that are represented, you pretty much see those three discussing or leading, giving sort of orders, directions to others, senior members, even though there's other senior members. You get my point. Number 4, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Okay, not these other dudes, no, nothing knocking them. And first of all, why does there have to be, as small as Earth is, 4 Green Lanterns? Replacements? Come on, man, get out of here. 3 other replacements, but who keeps coming back? Hal Jordan. That's because he's the real Green Lantern. Okay, the real Green Lantern. Green Lantern's abilities. Anybody who knows this about the whole will thing, and because of the green light of the spectrum, the emotional spectrum, and all that, it's complicated. If you want to do your research of Green Lantern. He's arguably the most complex lore of all the and of all DC, and not saying something. Of all DC characters, Green Lantern is maybe the most complex of the lore. Yeah. Okay. Green Lantern, I mean, he deals with a bunch of other races, you know, and what he because of his job description, you know what I mean? That in of itself, you know, he's a intergalactic um diplomat. So he's a, you know, he's a police officer, intergalactic, you know, so he can, you know, he can be the representative for the Justice League there. Now, number 5, the Flash, Barry Allen. You know, I'm not talking about these other dudes. No. Okay, the real Flash. Okay, not Wally West, not M. Post's Bart Allen. No, Barry Allen. Barry Allen, the dude we grew up with. The dude who's faster than Superman. I don't care what anybody says, he's faster than Superman. The dude who time travels like it's nothing, who invented the time travel. The dude who can vibrate through walls like it's nothing. The dude whose death is one of the most, if he dies, it changes the course of history. Yeah, that dude. The dude, I mean, there's so much you could say about the Flash. So much. You know, he's right up there with the big dogs. He can go head to head with the biggest ones. The toughest opponents. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Flash, Barry Allen definitely deserves it, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay. Spot number 6. I gotta give that to Aquaman. And with Barry Allen, he a representation of the speedsters. I mean, I know Superman's super fast, and you know, Wonder Woman is no joke, but Barry Allen represents a whole nother facet of characterization. Now, like I said, number 6, getting to Aquaman. Aquaman, King of Atlantis. He's Atlantean. Again, another representation of another racial thing. You know, cross-racial. You know. Also, his abilities. He does unique abilities with you know, control of the sea, with his way he can breathe under sea. And if you know Aquaman, you just know this. You know, I don't even need to get into that. He's another old loved character. Do I really have to go there? You know, and he's a king. We need some royalty up in there. So yeah, you know, with the whole sea thing, obviously, you know, you gotta give him up in there. 7, Hawkman. Hawkman? Well, if you're gonna go by Carter Hall, the Thanagarian Hawkman, okay, not the dude with the whole Egyptian reincarnation thing. I'm talking about the one from outer space, from space. You know, another race. Again, his abilities. You know, he's been around since he's one of the original dudes. You understand what I'm saying? His abilities, again, you know, seemingly only enhanced by his the nth metal. Yo, he's strong. He can fly. You know, depends on what kind of ability you can give him. He's tough. He's a tough character. And the 8th and last spot goes to Alfred Quinn. Yes, the real Green Arrow. This dude, he's like right under Batman pound for pound. This dude just has bow and arrow. I mean, he has his wit and everything, but his tools are the bow and arrow. Batman has all the gadgets and stuff, but Oliver Queen, this dude, like, his views and stuff, like, he's for the little man. He's the Robin Hood character. You gotta have him up in there. And he's come, you know, he's come from money too. He, you know, he represents another facet. Now, there's other characters. Cat Marvel, don't throw him up in there. Too much like Superman, too kiddish at times. The Atom. No, we already have highly intelligent with Batman. Who else I thought of? I thought of a Martian Manhunter. You know, maybe, but he would just be an ally. These guys are all allies. And then Nightwing and Red Arrow would have their own new generation of kind of Justice League. So there you go. That's my thoughts. Peace.